We're on?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Episode 2 of the Coach Cast. Mikey,
Welcome.
doing?
How are you?
Yeah, good, bro. Let's just recap a little bit from last week. How'd you find it? So for anyone who doesn't know, we just recorded our first episode of our podcast, and it was the least to say fucking scary.
Yeah, definitely. I was so fucking nervous. You can probably hear that in my voice. Still a bit nervous now.
Yeah, look, we're getting used to it. I think it's a good experience. It's good to get out of our comfort zones and stuff like that. But yeah, like, how do you find everything? How do you think we're going with everything?
Man, I'm loving it. This is definitely a new experience for us. But it's fucking pretty cool. I must admit, this is something that I'm not trying to touch my head as much as I can. But awesome experience. I can't wait to do this week on week. Like, this is going to be so hectic.
Yeah, for sure. What's happening with life, bro? How you going?
Life is good. Off the back of my training from my triathlon, we spoke a bit about this briefly. Training has kind of taken a step back. Business has taken a step forward.
For sure.
So yeah, training wise, like, I reckon I trained about 3 times this week.
Yeah.
And that's including like the swim that I went for last night. Like, if I didn't go for that swim, I would have said, like, training wise, it was a shit week. But that swim kind of saved me. That was nice.
What about business? Is that picking up a bit?
Business has kind of picked up a little bit, which is exciting. But I'm kind of just preparing for a little bit of a downfall in the next few weeks as well.
Because of Easter?
Easter, a few clients going away. There's one in particular getting married.
That's good though. That's part of the job, man.
Yeah.
Like, we get clients ready for that sort of stuff. And
Oh yeah, exactly. You can't get disheartened about it. I seen this coming 3 months ago when they signed up. You know what I mean? Business wise, yeah. Like, for example, the guys that are getting married, for example, like, the results that I've seen over the last 3 months has been fucking insane. It's so sick to see.
Cool, bro.
And now, like, to look back from where they were, they're a week away from their wedding, and it's like they seem so happy with what they've done. And then that's just, for me, so exciting to see, like, I've actually helped them get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have been fitted for suits. They're getting fitted on this weekend for their 3rd time.
Oh, really?
In terms of, like, alterations.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen them in the
cool.
gym floor, bro. They're looking good.
Man.
They look happy as
Yeah.
well. Like,
It's a vibe.
yeah,
It's actually a vibe. That just brought back a memory of. I'm not going to even say it. There was just a comment that was made. Anyways,
You'll be for anyone that doesn't know, you'll be surprised at some of the shit that clients tell us in their fucking session.
Oh man, like, we are. I think we said this last episode. We're like their therapist, for example, but it's more of like a friendship. Or something you could tell someone that you couldn't tell someone else.
It's quite a relationship you can't describe, because it's not like you're going to feel judged because they're not your friend, but also at the same time you're like, this person's a complete stranger. But then you also feel like you can tell them things because you see them like on a weekly basis, and then they're also there pushing you to a limit, and they're like, it's a weird relationship because they're there at a vulnerable time in your life. Like, they come to you when they're not feeling as good, and then they sort of leave with a better attitude, and during that time, like, you go through that experience with them.
Yeah.
And just some of the shit that
I'm
gonna
go out and say one of the things I heard. Fuck it. You know what? I was training with a particular person, and they came out and told me, ever since training with you, I feel like I could just ride all night long. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, hey, it's feedback, bro. At least
I didn't need to know that, but I did that. Tell me about your week?
Bro,
Business,
look,
training.
I can't say I've had some feedback like that this week, but nah, bro, it's been good. I had a good session. So before this, I went to Pato Performance, and I trained there, and I did a big deadlift day. So my old 1RM for deadlift was a 200 kilos, and today I did that for reps. So I did 2 sets of 3,
Fucking hell.
and it
That's
felt
big.
good, man.
That's
My erectors might be fucking cooked by tomorrow, but hey, we're still standing for now.
Your CNS doesn't seem too fried.
Oh, that's pretty cooked.
Yeah, it's pretty cooked.
Nah, look, it was a good day.
Training's
bro.
been good.
Training's been really good, man.
Yeah.
It's hard finding that balance. I think we said this last time.
Definitely.
Like, finding a balance with your training is super fucking hard, especially with the lifestyle that we live. Like, business is good as well. Lost a few sessions this week, but you know what, man, it's part of the fucking part of the job. Like, as we said, people come to us for, I think that the whole thing about thinking you're gonna have a client forever is really silly.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just not gonna happen. Like, there's so many good coaches out there. Like, genuinely, there's some great coaches out there, and it's just like, there's things that I will know, and there's things that I won't know. And, you know, it'd be silly for me to think that a client's going to stick with me forever.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, yes, I might have the odd one or two that will stick with me for a couple years, maybe. And, you know, there might be some that stick with me forever. But, you know, unless even at the level we're at now, because we're not elite coaches, we're definitely great coaches. Like, I'm just being humble here. But, you know, there comes a point where, like, you know, being in a general population gym, people aren't coming for us to lift a big weight. You know, people aren't coming for us to become an athlete. You know, we might have the one or two strong or really good clients that want to go along that like journey and take that stream.
Like the most gen pop of all
Yeah.
gyms, you know what I mean?
And that's
like,
not a problem.
No, that's fine. But that's something you need to take into consideration. You're not going to have these clients forever. You might.
You
But
might.
there's a high chance that they need you for a certain amount of time to hit their goal. Whether you provide a great experience that is whether or not they continue on after that goal.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
You got to expect that, let's say they lose their 10 kilos out of 10 kilos. You got to expect that this person might, you know, not need your help anymore.
Yeah, or they might reduce the amount of time they see you because, you know, like one thing we touched on last time, we educate our clients to the point where they're actually quite knowledgeable people. And, you know, if they do stick with us, it's because we create that relationship with them. And we also, you know, we still coach them, but, you know, just that relationship goes a bit deeper. And, you know, as you said, you know, your clients are going for a wedding, like, you know, you've reached to their goal.
Yeah.
And that's very common. I have people coming in saying, I want to get ready for a holiday, you know, and after that holiday, they might stick with you because you create that relationship and they like you as a trainer and you might change their perspective on training as well and fitness. And they'll stick with you. But, you know, it'd be very silly to think that they're going to stick with us forever. Yeah. It's part of the job. You know, as soon as one client leaves, we might get another one. It's very... I guess there's a lot of turnover in this job. You know, it's not back when we thought that there was going to be the same client with us forever. It's just not true.
I mean, I had a client start with me just for the fact that she wanted to lose. It was like a body fat competition. Who can lose the most body fat in 12 weeks? And she took me on with the intention. Okay, I just want your help for this 12 weeks. Let's see how close I can get to my goal. And then after that, she goes, look, I think I'm just going to stick with you for after this because I'm going to have more goals.
Yeah, of course.
And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling for them to be like, okay, new goals. Let's see what we can do together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have a client that she, you know, this client, and she does like heaps of like online challenges and stuff like that, and she tags me in them all the time. It's pretty funny. It's nice, like it's awesome. It's cute of her, and she's a great client. She's fucking awesome. She's older. She's like 52, still young, of course, but you know, like for someone of her age, doing the things she's doing is quite impressive. And she came to me originally with a weight loss goal. And we lost 15 kilos. It was huge. Wow. It was massive. And now, like, our goals have changed a lot where we're more performance goals, you know. I was actually having a conversation with her on Friday, and I was like, she goes, why? Like, she goes, how come we're lifting heavier? And I'm like, because you're stronger, you know. And I'm like,
the accent. You always put on the accent to give it away.
I wasn't putting any accent on.
It was close.
Like, anyway, she was like, how come we're lifting heavier? And I was like, you know, what good is always training for a physique goal? Because at the moment, I actually put this on my story as well. You know, I said we're not in dieting calories. We're not in a deficit. Like, there's no point to have to try and always train for some sort of physique goal. At the moment, let's just get strong. And as we said last time, your physique will show, you know. And strength training is really, really important. We're going to go a little bit into that today. Today we're going to talk about, you know, how we program for our clients and why we program for our clients, and mainly around technique and stuff like that, and especially new clients. But in this case, you know, we've taken away the goal of looking better, and we've tried to focus on more performance. Yeah. And in that process, we've actually looked better, and we've been out of a deficit, and we've been at maintenance calories, and you know, we've significantly seen increase in strength, and she's killing it, man. She was RDLing 65 kilos. She was incline pressing.
She seems like she's really enjoying everything as well.
And she tells me.
Going to the whole deficit stuff that we can be really moody. I've seen this client of yours, and she just seems like she's so much more happy.
Yeah.
In this phase.
Of course, because one, you have sustenance, you have nutrition, like, you know, and this is again what I put on my story. You know, like what's good always dieting, like, you know, that time out of the diet and out of maintenance calories, you're building muscle. It's like, think of it as a statue. You know, what good is what good is the statue you're going to reveal with no muscle behind it or nothing good to reveal, you know? You know, you need to break down, the layers that are behind it, but you need to build those layers first, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. We're building those layers, we're building that muscle, and we have a strength goal in mind. We're increasing our squat, we're, increasing our incline press and and RDLs and stuff like that. And not only that, we're teaching movement, we're teaching technique, which is what we're going to get into today. And we might as well get into it. So, what we try and do with our clients, especially our new ones. Well, let's start off. We always go with a consultation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and a pre-screening, because that's very important for our clients. Like, what good is, getting started and giving them a program if they don't know how to fucking do anything? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I see, and it's not just at our gym, just anywhere, online, social media, all that sort of stuff. We see it so much. People just jump into these programs, and it's really common with like online coaches, because you don't get that pre-screen, you don't get to see it. And not to say that online coaches are all shit. There's just some out there who, I've seen before, who mainly just have a big following and don't actually know a lot about training, and they just go and give these programs, these generic programs, and they're just like, yeah, go do it. But they don't know how to squat, hip, hinge, push, pull, these things are very basic movements that we said last time.
There's like in particular, for example, like let's speak about how we would go into a pre-screening or like an assessment, for example. When I'm running, I make this joke all the time to clients, potential clients, everyone. One of the first steps I go through is like, just perform a body weight squat for me.
Simple.
Let's see how this moves. And I always make the joke like, I know this seems very silly. You're probably looking at me like, who can't perform a squat? The shit you see.
Oh, of course.
The shit you see. Like, I'm talking, someone's about to do a fucking roly-poly when they're coming down into a squat.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see that, obviously you're an online coach, you're not going to be able to see that. But you're going to go straight away, this person, they look like they train well.
And
barbell
guys,
squats.
we're not shitting on online coaches, because we see this one-to-one all the
Yes.
time, because people do not perform screenings or anything like that at all. Because let's just make one thing clear. We're just saying what's important, what
This is just the
sometimes can be
importance.
missed.
This is the importance of a pre-screening. Like,
Yeah.
You could by all means write a program for someone that you haven't screened before. Definitely.
Yeah, and you know what? They might be able to do it perfectly, but 9 times out of 10, general population sit like how we are now, have super fucking tight hips, have weak ass glutes, probably lower back pain, and probably get fucking headaches.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and these are the questions we ask in our pre-questionnaires, because that's also fucking important. Do you have any injuries? Oh, no, not really. And then you get in a pre-screen, they're like, oh yeah, I actually tore my meniscus. Oh, fuck, yeah. Okay, why didn't you tell me that before?
Do you have any pain in your knees or anything when you squat? No, cool. And then you go do like a deadlift variation. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, like I always have this hip, like my lower back flares up, and you're like,
exactly.
I needed to know that at the start, but that's fine. We kind of work through this,
and that's why we do it. That's why we do what we do, and that's why it's important. There's been many times, even something as simple as fucking whiplash. Like, let me know. Like, no, serious.
No,
like,
that's it. 100%.
Like it could be occurring, and also we need to look after ourselves in the sense that we could need to refer on to a physio or something like that, because you might not be fit to train. And the importance of a pre-screen, and we do simple shit as a body weight squat, and leading to the next point, it's like, what good is the pre-screening without proper programming? If we know you don't know how to squat properly, then we're not going to give you a fucking barbell squat. We might start you off with something else.
It's just not happening. So like, give me an example of like some of the things you would do pre-screening, and then we can go into like an assessment. How would you run a pre-screen, like a consultation?
Look, it depends on the person. It sounds like a cop-out answer, but it's actually not, because let's say, for example, I'm interviewing you. And I'm like, okay, Mikey, I'll have my questionnaire in front of me, and I'll be like, all right, so, what's your goal? Let's just say, for example,
I want to tone up.
Yeah, you want to tone up. There you go. Thank you. Awesome. And, from there we go, okay, well, what's your training history? Did you play a sport? Go on, and, you might have done, I don't know.
I've done loads. I think I've done every sport under the sun.
There you go. So in my head, I'm already thinking, okay, well, this person might have pretty good coordination. They might be move pretty well. Or, sometimes you get that fucking odd person who's done nothing and they just move like a fucking god. And you're like, why have you never trained before? But, and even so, the vice versa, it could be the other way. You've had people who are like, yeah, I've done this. I can squat 120. And then you get them on a bar and it's just like, okay, cool.
I have the perfect example of that. Like, a young guy approaches me and says, I need help like I'm looking for a trainer because I just want to make sure my technique is up to scratch. He goes like, oh, like Mikey, I squatted 70 kilos the other day. I was like, bro, that's fucking awesome. Like, let's see, all right. So I put him through a assessment. Let's just say to this day, I have told him if you ever squat with weight on that bar and I see you, I'm kicking you out of the gym. Like he is banned.
Yeah,
from
and
barbell
and
back
we
squat.
only say this, and we're not
Banned.
being shit cunts or we're not being pricks. We say this for the safety of the client, because at the end of the day, the reason we do this is for the safety of the client.
Of
and you know
course.
how good is someone's progression gonna be if they can't nail technique? You know, I know that if someone in the pre-screen shows, hey, you don't know how to squat or hinge properly, I'm probably not going to give you a squat or a barbell squat at least, or a deadlift, you know, because then you're putting yourself at risk and your room for progression is not there, you know. And, you know, that's why a lot of my programs are pretty fucking simple. They're nothing crazy, you know, in
Yeah.
terms of movements, that is, you know, especially with a complete new trainer or new client. And one of the things that I will always do is, you know, okay, well, let's do a leg extension. Let's do maybe a split squat. Let's do maybe a goblet squat. At least something, or a box squat, something I can teach, something I can cue, you know. And then from there, you know, you're progressing, because at the end of the day, your body hasn't moved in that way before. And then from there, we can go, okay, well, you know, you're doing a box squat with a kettlebell. Awesome. That's starting to look a lot better. Let's do 4 weeks of that.
Yes.
Next 4 weeks, phase 2. Okay, let's get on to let's remove the box. Let's elevate your heels a little bit. Let's get you goblet squatting with a dumbbell, and then we're overloading that. And then before you know it, it's been 8 weeks. We've built muscle, and you know we've progressed the movement itself.
And we haven't touched a barbell, but things are progressing week to week.
Now the goal for us is we want to get someone on a barbell. Why? Because it's progression. You know, again, we said we don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time with these people. You know, they could, you know, they have weddings to go to and stuff like that. So we want to give them goals, because goals are important for their physique and all that sort of stuff. But again, movement needs to be a goal. Technique needs to be a goal. Learning how to move your body should definitely be a fucking goal. Otherwise, like, you're showing up and, you know, people get bored. They need variety, you know. Otherwise, you know, like, if you, like, I'm not saying that one movement is better for the other for muscle building or hypertrophy, but, you know, the client needs a goal to progress.
Exactly. And how many times have you gone up to like a random person on the gym floor, you see them performing a technique wrong, you get to conversation and say like, what kind of program are you following? And their answer is 9 times out of 10, oh, I kind of just come in and just whatever. I just do whatever's available. And how's that going for you? Oh, you know, I guess it's okay. And that's where
Classic salesman.
Yeah, like, and that's where it gets, that's where
How does that make you feel, Mike?
that's where programming and progression is so important.
Of course. Yeah. Like, you know, what good is a program with, and okay, so, you know, like for us, you know, progressive overload is so important, you know, like being able to come in and, you know, even if you're adding 1.25 to the exercise each week, then that's progressive overload. That's how you build muscle, because the muscles need to adapt to a new stimulus. Otherwise we won't grow, you know, and for hypertrophy and even strength, that's important. So what good is coming in and adding weight to a bar, let's say for a squat or a deadlift, and it's poor technique? Anyone can get strong.
You see that all the time, especially in Gen Pop gyms in general. You see the weight going up, but the technique going all the way back down. Like, you see, like, I seen someone on the gym floor the other day doing a 100-kilo squat. When he was doing 60, it didn't look too bad, but he progressed to 100, and there was like, it just went way downhill.
And this is also just the importance of program. Where does that take your program? Like, like legit, like, where do you go after that? Let's say your 1RM is 100 kilos and you do 100 kilos. Where do you go after that?
I think you just kind of leave.
Exactly. Well, you know,
You just leave the gym.
and this is my point from before. Anyone can get strong, but can you get strong injury-free? You know, because 9 times out of 10 when we get a new client, they have some sort of fucking injury, or they have some sort of limitation, or they have pain, you know, and that's common, not because, you know, because we know better, but because people are just misinformed and they don't know how to train properly. And that's why technique is so important. Technique in any movement is important, even if you're on a machine. I've had a client and we did something as simple as a chest press, like a machine plate loaded one, and you know his shoulders were going up like this, and it's like,
What
you know,
you see all the time. Like,
And it's
sorry to
just
cut
like-
you off there, but I've literally seen this and gone up to multiple people. They've gone off a chest press. They're holding their shoulders. Like, oh, like, you feeling any shoulder pain? Yeah, it's a little bit. How about, it's something as simple as just put the seat down a little bit or put the seat up.
Yeah, and
Something that simple. We talk like I say this as jokes all the time. You can definitely go wrong on a machine weights or a pin loaded machine. Like just because it's there, it can only go one way. Doesn't mean that you can perform that 100% correctly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna cheeky plug my Instagram, but we actually have how-tos on our Instagram of how to use certain machines. Like we do. Like how many times do we see on a laying hamstring curl people's ass going fucking in the air like they're twerking a Cardi B and fucking doing a hamstring curl? Exactly. It's and we're not shitting on people. We're just saying it's important.
That's all we're talking about. It's just the importance of good technique before adding weight to the bar.
Exactly, and we just want people to realize get a coach or just do your research, not on YouTube. Go to people who know what they're talking about and realize that on a hamstring curl, if you drive your hips into the pad and then curl up, you're gonna put more pressure on your hamstrings, and that's important. Things as simple as getting your knee joint in line with a leg extension is gonna actually provide a better movement itself.
Exactly.
If you set up your movement correctly, then you're going to execute it better. And that's just anything. If you squat, if you bring your shoulder blades back and down on a squat to hold the bar, then you're going to create a shelf for the bar to sit on. And then you're going to have a better squat, and then you're going to add weight to the bar, and then you're going to progress. That's what's important here. That the technique in itself is super important. And it's a very underlying factor that people don't understand. We don't get strong lifting heavy weights. We get strong lifting weights with good technique.
Exactly. Like when I go back to my own training, for example, I've torn both my ACLs, meniscus on my right leg.
And we're not perfect. We've been there.
Like this is all playing sport. Rolled both my ankles. I had chronic back pain for 4 years. I couldn't even bend over to fucking tie my shoelace. That was just going back to tradie days, just lifting with a hunchback. How I got back, I never thought I would move forward without lower back pain. I just thought that was something I got to live with for the rest of my life. How that was fixed was through good movement patterns.
Exactly.
Squats, deadlifts.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it. That's how I had surgery in my right leg, so that was a proper rehabilitation program.
Mm-hmm.
And then my left ACL was just get back into the gym.
Yeah, and
just move,
let me
move
ask, so with that rehabilitation program, were you squatting and deadlifting?
Not for the first 6 months.
Okay, but
Now,
the point is that everyone's different.
Exactly. So this was. Sorry. So just to clarify, with my left knee, for example, when I didn't have surgery, yes, squatting and deadlifting.
Yeah.
That was. But after post surgery, my rehab was well behind in the first 3 months because I was so lazy, and then it was well advanced 6 months later. So I kind of caught up and then some. But I was doing shit like fucking sprints and side jogs and kickbacks on the Stairmaster. Just kidding, I would never do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't be that person.
So this is where and I have a couple of clients who have started with lower back pain, and the progression would be goblet squats or something of that nature.
Yeah,
and now I have them on a barbell now, and it's that's just good progression. The back pain doesn't seem to be there whenever I ask. So that's the thing you need to go back, when we go back to our pre-screen and the consultation, assessment-wise, what are them, I do really simple things like a single arm shoulder press, a lat pull down, external rotation. Is there anything that you do that's so basic, but people look at you why am I doing this?
I get simple shit, again, the box squat, very simple with a kettlebell or, neutral grip pressing is really important.
Exactly.
Or just simple stuff as pinching your shoulder blades together when you go sit back on a bench, because you're putting your body in a better position to press. Neutral grip, you're putting less pressure on the shoulders this way. Think about
exactly,
it.
Yeah.
You're going like that or like that, and it's going to make a difference. And people, I've had a client that had really bad shoulder pain, especially when bench pressing. So I was like, fuck that, get off the bench. This is just something that just everyone should know. If you are in pain, don't fucking do it. Why? Don't train through pain. I saw a good quote actually once, and it was, if it burns, keep going. If it stings, stop. Because a burn, a burn is okay, well, I'm getting a pump or I'm working the muscle. But if something stings, why would you do it? Don't train through pain. Okay, especially if it's lower back pain, if it's
No
shoulder
pain,
pain.
no gain.
That's
I love
fucking
that one.
stupid.
I love that one.
It is stupid.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah,
my
well,
lower back kills, but
yeah,
it must
okay.
be working.
Oh, yeah,
It's my-
100%. How
It's my
good.
back extension on a 45-degree back
Yes, I
extension.
have a bulging disc. It must be working.
No pain, no gain.
Exactly. Like if you have pain, stop. You should never train through pain. It is not a good idea, you know. And so the simple stuff that I do is just press neutral. You always regress movement again. So bring back to my client. So he had shoulder pain and he was on the bench press, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I got him off the bench and I was like, all right, let's just go to pressing. Let's just do some pressing. Actually, first thing we did was pulling, because most of the time, if they don't have some sort of shoulder pains or chest pain or anything, they can't press, we need to do a lot more pulling.
Exactly.
You know? So we did a lot of that as well, and we got the movement pattern a lot better. We fixed up his pressing, and then we went to a bench press, and I think in 8 weeks we had him benching 80 kilos, which he'd never done before, you know. And that's just the importance of a pre-screen, you know. That's the importance of programming correctly, and then also knowing your client. Know your client. Ask questions. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And don't train through pain. It's just silly. Any time in our sessions when he had pain, I said, all right, stop.
Yeah. And I go back to one of the guys that had a shoulder issue. Now, this is funny. I asked him, so like, how did you hurt your shoulder in the first place? Oh, well, my last trainer, like 15 years ago, like there was no benches available. So she asked me to do a bench on a yoga ball, and I was like, oh. And I was like, how did that end up? Yeah, well, I haven't been in the gym since. That was like 10, 15 years ago. And it's actually very hard to program for him because like 80% of the movements he just can't do without feeling a pinch. This is at the very beginning anyway. Face pulls, couldn't do it.
Really?
Like, we could do
Wow.
some external rotations. That was great. Everything was neutral. And it was most of the time couldn't even be to a full extension.
Yeah.
And now same situation. We've now progressed to barbell bench press, barbell overhead. His main issue was he could never feel his chest because we were doing so much neutral. Like I was like, okay, that's understandable. But we've like fast forward 3 months later, he's doing. I think we started on, no joke, 4 kilo pressing.
Wow.
And he's up to about 18 to 20 kilos on a like a flat dumbbell, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's basically said, like, I've been to the physio countless amount of times. Now, it's not to shit on any physios, for example, but he goes, I've been to physios a countless amount of times. Nothing has seemed to work. I've gotten all these bullshit exercises. Those exercises actually can be very beneficial, but we like to preach good technique.
Yes.
Move with good technique. And funnily enough, the exercise that hurt him, obviously he was on a Bosu ball or a yoga ball. We've rehabbed with that exercise.
Yeah. And, you know, it's all because of the good technique. And, you know, we're not also saying, you know, we're better than physios. Because we're not. And there's some fucking great physios just
Definitely
as much
not.
as great coaches out there. But just like any job, any industry, there's shit ones as well, you know? Like I had my client say that she couldn't fucking deadlift. And I'm like, do you have pain when you deadlift? She's like, no. I'm like, well, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you saying you can't? You're pain free, then, you know, you're fine. What are you resting? Like, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Resting isn't always a good thing. Rehab, you know, put blood through the muscle, through the joint. Because if there's no blood going through that, then how the fuck is it going to, you know, rehab? How is it going to recover? How is it going to, you know, improve? So those things are all very important. And this is again, you know, this is going back to my point. Like anyone can get strong, but can you get strong injury free? And, you know, again, so if say your 1RM is a 100 kilo squat, and then you're doing that every day, where is the program going to go? And that's the importance of our programming, is your 1RM with good technique. So it isn't. Okay, then we need to strip the weight right back. Yeah. Is it? Still, we need to strip the weight right back. You know what I mean? So like I'll start a program and I'll be like, okay, we're doing, let's just say 3x8 on a squat, for example. I know you can squat 100 kilos, but the program lasts 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the person, you know, depending on the goal as well. So why the fuck would I start you at 80 kilos? Because then you're going to go 80, 90, 100. Where's your program going to go?
That's it.
You know, I once heard from a really good coach that, you know, programming's all about ticking boxes. You know, as a coach, we need to look for ticking boxes. Okay, can you move pain-free? Yes. Can you do this? Can you do this? And same thing with numbers. Okay, so your goal, let's say for strength training, you know, your goal is to hit 100 kilos. Again, deadlift. All right. Well, I've seen you do 90. I've seen you do 80. I've seen you do 70. I haven't seen you do 75. I haven't seen you do 85. I haven't seen you do
Yeah.
95. And then I haven't seen you do it for more than 1 rep or 2 reps or 3 reps. Now, you could say you've done it for 1, 2, and 3. Have you done it for 4 or 5 or 6? You know, like these things are all important. It's all about ticking those boxes
Exactly,
to
right.
progress.
And we talk about like volume PBs, for example.
Yeah,
like
huge.
How important are volume PBs? Like yourself, for example, 200. You've done that once for 1 rep. How much more exciting is it now that you could hit 220, but you've just hit 3 for 2 sets?
And why the fuck you want to hit a 1 RM anyway? I'm being serious. Like, I mean, personally, I do it because I want to compete in the sport. But if you're not competing in the sport, the thing that people don't understand is that as we increase in weight, the margin for error becomes very, very, very little. It becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and that technique needs to get better and better and better. Because if you're going for 1 RM, and this is what my coach said to me today, he goes, you're going for a volume PB, which was not even a 1 RM. He goes, all the hard work's done. He goes, if I need to cue you now, then I haven't done my fucking job before. And he's got a point. It's true. He goes, like, why... If you're going for any sort of 3 RM or 2 RM, you shouldn't be queuing by then. You should know how to do the technique, you know? And I see it all the time. People are hitting 1 RMs, 200 kilo deadlift. It's like, why? You're not competing. We said this before, you know, going back to our point, we train a lot of gem pop people. So why the fuck are you going for a 1 RM? There's no point. You're not competing. And that's another thing, like, you know, physique goals as well. You know, why the fuck do you want to look like Ronnie Coleman or anything, or Arnold? Like, you're not competing on stage. You don't need to look like that.
Exactly.
It's just social media and like all that sort of stuff have created this imaginative world where we need to always look like a 6-pack person, or we always need to lift like a fucking powerlifter. We're not powerlifters and bodybuilders in this world. We're everyday people who have other shit going on.
Exactly.
Those people dedicate half their lives to that stuff. So why are we sitting here saying we need to hit 1 RMs? So going back to our point, Mike, I never programmed for 1 RMs. I've never programmed for, or maybe one time, and it's still that person had correct technique. And you need to earn right to add weight to the bar.
And we say that all the time. Like, that is so important. If you have even the most minuscule technique breakdown of technique, you aren't putting anything on that bar. We're going again.
Of course.
Like, there is no point. Like, even if it's something very, very minor, and you think, I think that would be okay if we went up. Still not worth it.
I say to my clients all the time, I'm sorry, I'm a cunt and a prick, but we're not going out. Like, you need to do that again. Because I'm not leaving it on my watch to fucking have someone, you know, fuck up their back and, you know, and then that ruins my reputation, my business, and then they're not a happy client anymore. If my client's injury-free, then, you know, that's a fucking good, happy client. This is the importance of technique here, is that, you know, we don't want to give you an opportunity for technical breakdown. You should never risk the weight coming up for your technique. Did I say that?
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't have to add weight to that bar if anything's even the most minor going wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes for just anything else. Like, even if you're doing a hamstring curl or a bicep curl, like, you know, why are you trying to bicep curl 20 kilo dumbbells when you don't need to? I say it all the time. It's fucking stupid, man.
All
Like,
the time.
it's like, we're not shitting on everyone, but at the same time, you know, don't be a fucking idiot.
And that's why we are that's why we want to kind of talk about the whole importance of technique on this episode. Like, it's not to make us feel better by shitting on other people.
No.
It's so important, and it's because we see this every single day. Like, every hour of every day, we see this breakdown of technique.
Yeah, and we want to educate people around this because it's really fucking important.
Exactly. Like, we said this last episode, people watch things online and think it suits them.
Yeah, and if we can be something that people see online that is a bit more educational and around technique and around just training in general in the gym and nutrition and all that sort of stuff, then I feel like we're doing something good. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's important. People need to know this stuff because it's not out there enough. And there's some great coaches, as I've said, but, you know, like be humble enough to get help when you need it, and that's also important. You know, like, as we said, prospecting is hard. People at the moment, our business isn't a lot of people coming to us, it's us trying to go out and get them. And, you know, that's part of being a PT because, you know, no one knows who the fuck we are, and that's fair enough, but what we do works. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like, speaking of prospecting doesn't just mean we're going out, we want our name and number,
and we want your
business.
credit card detail.
Like we have a kind of an obligation, right? Like if we see someone deadlifting with a rounded back, I physically can't walk past that.
No, of course not. That's the thing. Like, we're passionate about what we do because we fucking love it and we preach it.
I say that all the time. I literally apologize for it. I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean to annoy you, but like I'm passionate about this shit. Like I love when someone's deadlifting with good technique. Fucking gets my rocks off.
Oh, 100%. Like, oh, fuck, man. Like, when I have clients who, it's awesome to see when the things that we do with around our pre-screening, around like when just something perfectly comes together and it happens. Like, I've seen it all the time and it fucking makes me happy. Like, it's why we do the fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, this job, it's like any other job. It's like, this is something we're willing to be stressed out about. It's fucking so important that around just seeing people progress and seeing people live properly. And, as I said last time, technique is movement, like the body is supposed to squat, push, pull, hinge. I said this last time, so, these are basic things. And as we were saying before as well, people sit at a desk all day, or people as you were, or as a laborer or a carpet, whatever you're doing in tradie life, you're hunched over like this. And I say it all the time, and it's like we need to. And another one is a big one is the phone. People are always like this on their phone, and people have neck problems. Like, I've fucking had that. I'm on my phone all the time. Like, we need to move better. Movement is progression. Movement is a transformation in my eyes.
Move in everyday life, and if you can move well, and then you can progress those movements through your exercise in the gym, everyday life is just going to get better.
Of course, like just simple stuff. Like, I remember messaging a client. I was like, "How are you feeling today?" And she was like, "I have really good posture today." Like, that's fucking hectic.
I know, it's so good.
It's good. It's what you want.
I 100% agree with that. We briefly spoke on when would new members follow a program, and is that important?
Of course.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is a big one. So, do we put people on a program straight away? Yeah,
Definitely.
100%. How do we program for that? We, again, as we said last time, we regress the movement if need be. But then in sets and reps, how does that work? How would you do it?
In terms of my clients or new members, right?
Yeah,
so
or like any new clients.
you want to practice good movement patterns. And for me, that looks like anywhere from 8 to 12 reps of something that's not a compound movement.
Yes, of
So
course.
if we're doing a barbell squats or a deadlift or a bench, anything, we want to teach good movement patterns, and movement on those compounds will start to break down if you're doing, can even be 4, 5, 6.
Definitely.
So if we take out of the equation compound movements and they're a basic member that's just started out and we can't get
Low
to that.
risk as well, low injury risk.
It's also very important to get them using free weights, dumbbells, to get their shoulders moving.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about program for sets and reps, I love to just go the old 3 or 4, 10 to 12 reps, and then we're progressively overloading every week, like you said.
And this is machines and free weights
Exactly.
and stuff like that. We're not talking about squats or a barbell or anything like that. Personally, what I would do, and I know you're the same, is like if it's something like that where we're ready to put them on a bar, it'd be very low reps.
Yes, definitely.
Because then there's just too much room for error. 10 to 12 reps is, as you said, the machines and stuff like that, because we can still get a good workout in, and we can still teach that technique, even if it's something as simple as a leg extension.
Exactly. And me personally, for depending on the goal, but 9 times out of 10, I'm supersetting as well.
Oh, of course,
Like
every
you
time.
want to try and I don't know, you like to do the whole push-pull. I like to kind of go kind of pull into a push movement, so like a chest and back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially if someone has poor shoulders, a full day of push are going to be very tiring on their joints.
Oh, for sure.
So that just goes back to, you've kind of got that in your pre-screening. If I didn't have that and I would just go a push day, I think this person would probably last 2 weeks before their shoulders are fucking aching.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, it's that regression. And, so for example, I like to use very low reps when it comes to compounds, Look, and it also comes to your ability to be able to teach the movement, So, I know Mike and I also, if we see something that is someone who's knows how to move somewhat okay and they don't have pain, I'm probably going to put them on a bar because we're pretty confident in being able to teach the movement within the session, And even if this is something as well that we want to get across, is that your movement isn't going to look better in the first week or in the first session. It's just not. I personally try to look for one thing to work on. let's say, for example, a squat. I'm going to see someone squat, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to practice with them just for that session, bringing the shoulder blades back and down.
Yeah.
And just explain to them why we do that. Then the next session they come in, and I'm going to tell them, don't squat without me, because we're working on this together. It's a technique, it's a progression, and you need someone to be watching you. And I record them as well. That's huge. That's massive.
Yeah. And that's another thing as well. Like, would you program? Let's say your client's seeing you once a week.
Yeah.
And you can only be there for either their squat day or but you're confident they can do deadlifts. Or you're not too sure if they can do deadlifts. Would you program both squats and deads, but they can only see you once?
I'd probably give them a rack pull or something,
Yeah.
or give them some sort of hip hinge, maybe an RDL. Like, confident in they would be able to do that. You know, something where it's just like, okay, if I see it, I can correct it, but I'm fairly confident in they can do it. Again, it's minimizing that risk as well. You know,
I would agree with that. Like, I wouldn't, if I could only see them for their squat and not a deadlift, they have to do something regress on that. Like,
100%. It's important because, like, you know, I'm not going to give someone an exercise again that they're not going to be able to do, and you know, again, even so, I'm going to give them very low reps on that as well. Low volume, like, you know, we say about hitting volume PBs, and that's great. But, you know, like, we're only going to give you like 3 to 4 reps and maybe 4 sets or something like that. Something where we want you to keep the weight relatively light as well. You know, again, we don't get strong lifting heavy weights. We get strong lifting weight with good technique.
Yeah. Like, when you speak about your own volume PB today, for example, like, yes, you're only doing a 2x3, but how fucking hard is a 2x3 when you compare that to a triple drop set, fucking hamstring curl?
Oh, yeah, but it's completely two different things as well. You know, I'm doing a movement that works my whole body. I'm activating my lats.
Yeah.
I am pushing through the floor.
Just because we're low volume doesn't mean it's not high impact, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and when you get better, and this is what I want people to understand as well, is when we get to a good level of that 3x3 is going to be heavy.
Yeah.
You know,
it's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard, like, you know, relative to the person. And once you learn your client and where they're at and they can move efficiently, again, that 3x3 is, there's no more cues coming in. You know how to do the movement, you know? That's where the technique is not something I'm explaining to you halfway through the fucking session. That means that you know how to do it and you're lifting that 3x3, and this is starting to actually like strength train and build and train your nervous system to lift that weight, you know. And you know, that could be for some people a very long way away. And you know, and this is something I try to do with my clients, and this is why it's very important. Everyone wants to look good, but I try to put the performance and the technique onto my client, and I try to drive that home with them very early on.
Yes.
Because if we can take your mind away from how you look to how you perform, I can guarantee you your life is going to be a lot better. Because everyone wants to look, and that's fine. I want to look good. We all want to look good relative to our own opinion.
Yeah.
But if I can change your goal around to something that's performance based, you know, I think it's a lot better on mental health. Like, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that come to us have some sort of self-esteem issues anyway. Like, that's 100% sure. Like, you know, I know you have some clients, and I've had some clients that definitely struggle with how they feel about themselves, and that's really, really important to try and steer their opinion or their mindset away from how they're looking all the time. Because like it's just not. We don't live in a world where, you know, you have to look a certain way. It's just not true. And the fitness industry has definitely tried to steer us that way.
Oh, definitely. We're trying to get away from that as much as possible. We touched on this last episode, was exercise and eat to how you want to feel happier about yourself, not to fucking please anyone on Instagram just because someone's got their ass out on Instagram. Like, you should see that shit behind the scenes. Like, and a lot of people, I think Darren actually posted something about this, was like the whole influencer posting when they're not posing. You know what I mean? Like,
flex versus relax.
Yeah. And a lot of people are now doing that. But it's still kind of like, I think we're already way past. You've got 100,000 Instagram followers like showing just their ass and their abs and shit. Like, it's too far gone. So we're trying to bring this back.
Of course, you know, and you know, if I can glorify with our audience and my clients that, you know, you should be fucking excited about being able to know how to squat with a barbell on your back or pick something up off the floor, something as simple as that we do in everyday life again, then that to me is fucking way better than how you look for a split second in a photo. Because Instagram is, I've seen this somewhere written as well, Instagram is a snapshot of what you want your life to look like.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You post it for other people. You know, your goal
You're only
should.
posting the good things as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're posting a perfect lifestyle.
Yes. And that's not real.
Yeah.
It's not
definitely
real. It's not, like, it just doesn't happen. You know, no one always looks the way they look in a photo. And, you know, we shouldn't be glorifying that. That's why, you know, what I post on Instagram and what Mikey posts on Instagram is there to help you, is there to educate. We spend a lot of time on our phones, but I feel like we've become a lot, like, common sense isn't very common anymore. It's just not. We're quick to form an opinion around things without much, like, knowledge behind it.
Yeah, definitely. And touching on that topic as well, like one of my clients has actually told me recently, since learning how to squat with you, I'm so passionate about it now that when I seen someone squatting next to me wrong, I actually I actually went over and approached them and told them, knees out.
Yeah,
She said that she's going up and doing that to random people and she's not even a fucking personal trainer there. And I was like, that shit excites me, man.
Yeah, it's good. It is.
Good movement. It's just so nice.
100%. And we sound like fucking weirdos.
We sound like losers here.
But it's so true. Like, it is an art form. It is so beautiful to watch someone move with perfect technique. It is just great to watch. Like, and let's take it a step further. Even when you see, like, athletes perform a good technique, it's just awesome to watch.
It's so nice.
We can strive for that, but again, we don't need to be that person. Again, like, bringing us back to the sole point, we train a general population, and if we can just change one person's life at a time, then our job is worthwhile. I had a client, and he came to me, and he hadn't. I think it'd been 4 months since he used his shoulder, and my goal for him was just to press and to move. And squat actually was a big one. And so I got him on a safety bar because the safety bar's here, and we're not putting any pressure on the shoulders. And originally there was pressure on the shoulders and he couldn't do it pain-free. But he finishes up with me next week and we're pressing 22s and we're squatting 100 kilos with
Fucking
technique
hell. Yeah.
and pain-free. That there is worth every sort of penny almost. That, like, it's awesome. Like, it's worth all the stresses I go through on a daily basis. It's worth it all, because to me that is a success story. To me that is progression. To me that's what I love to do. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
exactly right. I mean, in terms of technique, like one client of mine, for example, had come to me with lower back pain, and I think after 4.5 months, he told me he wants to start lifting heavier again. I'm like, okay, like, let's do this. He's like, your back's okay? He's like, oh, my back's fine, but like, maybe we should start. And this was someone that loves functional training, but it's now pretty exciting. My first regression was he could do front rack, double fucking kettlebell front squats. Like, he could move, but he was very skeptical about barbells. So we started him just on a trap bar deadlift and no pain. And just week to week, he's just progressing, and it's fucking awesome to see. I'm like, when someone finishes their set and you ask them the magic question, like, any pain? And they say no. It's like, oh, no pain.
And then you leave that
pain.
that section where you're like, fuck, I'm a sick cunt. I'm fucking good at my job, eh?
He's fucking trap bar deadlift, no pain, man. That's the shit that excites
That's a fucking
us.
vibe.
What a vibe.
So every time we're in a session, Mikey and I, it's literally you, me, and a colleague and friend, Harry. Every time we walk past each other in the gym, we just say, what a fucking vibe. Because when we work together, it's like, it's good fun. It's a good environment where we work.
It's cool. It's cool. Like, all of your clients know my client. All of my clients know you. Your clients know me.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun environment to be in there, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing, we shit on a lot of people and we say, like, a lot of shit around people who, and who, like, piss us off and things that piss us off. But, our job is pretty fucking good. We can't complain. Like, we help people on a daily basis. Like, and I work with one of my best mates. Like, I can't complain. Like, Friday we were sitting in the members lounge just pumping music, and we looked like a bunch of idiots. And we were just dancing
We're
around.
literally like
this.
fresh off the bend, like fucking pumping shoes.
I know where I wish I was. We were fucking wishing we were in fucking Ibiza, living the life. But no, we were in Bondi Platinum.
Unfortunately, yeah, because our weeks get so full on, and it's like, it's like you kind of take a blow after a blow, and then you get a massive win.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
you would know, like so much goes on Monday to Friday in our lives. It's like fucking skyrockets. You're fucking pumping at 3 o'clock. You've had a great Monday, and then you get some
Something
text
happens.
message
Yeah, some text
or
message.
something, and you're
Something
like,
happens, or
I look at Jackson. I'm like, fuck, man. He's like, what's going on? And I was like, fucking bullshit. And then you have
we should just become MCs.
and then we just have a cracker session at 5 o'clock, and you're like, what a fucking day that was,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And then it's just a mad roller coaster Monday to end of Monday. There's so much happen.
Look, we both shit on the job, and we both also like praise the job. It has its up and downs like any job, but we wouldn't trade it for the world.
No,
100%.
definitely, it's the best thing ever. Like,
But there's a reason why PTs don't survive in their first year, because it is hard. We're still in our first year, you know, and you know we're coming from a position that, you know, we feel like we can give advice and stuff like that. But it's hard work, because, you know, just because you know your shit, it also, you know, doesn't mean you know how to run a business. It's
Yeah,
hard, you
yeah.
know, like. Like I remember the first time I set up my direct debit system for work, I was like, I feel weird taking people's money. Like I do. Like it's like I just took money out of someone's account and it went into mine. I feel weird.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
because
what's
you
going
feel like you're
on?
stealing money. Like, you know,
I've had trainers tell me, like it feels wrong taking their money. I'm like, I get that, but like if
we're offering a service. You know,
you're running your own business here.
exactly. You know, we it's like when I go to the doctor or go to the dentist. You know, like they're giving me a service around my health, and that's what we're in the health and fitness industry. And you know, it's stressful sometimes. You know, people, you know, we try to. This is what we do this for, the podcast, mainly because we try to get people over the line, and you know, we try to explain to them why they should have PT or why they should get a coach, because you know you can't go up to someone and be like, hey, you're shit, you need help. Like, it's not right to do that, and that's not our goal one bit. We genuinely want to help people, as we said, we're passionate about it. And you know, it's hard sometimes because we sometimes care about our results probably more than the client sometimes. You know? And when we go through that process of the pre-screen, and then we got to tell them, hey, look, this is how much it is. And they're like, oh, that's too expensive. And you're like, no, the fuck it's not. Like, you got to be confident in your product.
Yeah. If you ask a client of yours versus a random person you've never met, you tell them, like, you know, how much would you charge for a personal trainer? And you tell them, you know, I pay like $100 an hour. I've had people be like, holy fuck, that's expensive. But then you ask that person that you train, is it expensive? And they're like, no, like, do you know how much we get for that $100?
Yeah.
Like, the value that they have already, it's already like, I wouldn't even, that's second nature. Like, that's fine.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's a matter of changing people's values and views on how they spend their money as well. Because sometimes, like, there's the stages of contemplation of where they're at with their goals, you know. Some people want help, some people don't want it. Some people need to be shown that they need it. And, you know, some people will come to us and they're like, oh, yeah, I can't justify spending that money. But it's like, well, you go out and drinking and put half $500 up your nose every weekend. You know, like, and that's your priority. And that's not to say, like, fuck, do whatever you want. I don't care. But don't tell me that like, the thing that is hard about PT is that it is not instant gratification. And what people usually spend their money on is instant gratification.
Yeah.
When I buy something, when I get a bottle of water, I have this water. I can touch this water and I can drink it straight away. When you buy PT or coaching, you can't touch it. Please don't touch me. But you can't. It's not tangible. You can't touch it. You can't see the results straight away. It's something that's delayed gratification. You need to show and put. And that's the thing. It's not just me. It's you who needs to put in the work as well. And I say that in my pre-screenings. I say, hey, look, I need you to know that this is what I require from you. You know, you need to put in the effort.
Like, I like to say that I am giving you the tools on what you need to achieve these goals. I can't do it for you.
No, I can't
can
tell
teach
you
you.
to what to eat. Like, I can't tell you how much to eat. That's up to you. I give you a guidance, but I'm not telling you that you to do it. Like, I'm not in your ear all the time saying you have to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it takes a certain amount of accountability to do that.
Like, we can't actually like hold your hand and drag your ass out of the gym. Like, we can give you these tools to achieve these goals, and it's up to you. but we're going to help you guide. We're going to guide you. We're going to coach you to get there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You know, sometimes this job is hard because people don't realize that. They're just like, I'm not getting results, and I'm like, well, have you hit your macros? How much sleep are you getting? Are you progressively overloading? Are you doing the program? You know, I didn't train on this day, and I had a party on this day, and went and drank a bottle of wine. Well, then don't fucking complain. Like I don't obviously say that, but I'm like, sometimes there's been times where I sit down with my clients and I'm like, listen, you know, I want you to get results, and I know you want the results, but you got to be willing to put in the work to get those results. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, and some people, again, then they're happy with the way they are, and that's fine. You know, I'm there to guide. It's just that those people who want the push need to do the work. You know, it's part of the job.
And you get people that will say, you know, this is what I want to do. You give them the tools, then they come back to you a month later and be like, why haven't I lost any weight? Like, okay, well, have you followed the program? Well, are you tracking? No. How many times a week are you coming to the gym? Well, just when I see you. Well, you can't
And you know what?
You got to do the work.
Yeah, and you know what? That's fine. Then train once a week, but then, you know, go out hit 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Move more. You know, movement. Again, same thing. You don't need to squat a fucking 100 kilos, but move more. Go out for a walk, hit a step target. You know what I mean? I remember I did some mentoring with one of the PTs at work, and he PTs more. We're gonna get him on one eventually as well. And he PTs more comp prep. So he's pretty like, you know, like, if you're doing comp prep or like bodybuilding, you know, you're pretty much all in. And like you are, and he'll tell you if he's not happy. Yeah, like it's a bit more cutthroat sort of coaching. And he goes, the first thing he told me about coaching, he goes, don't believe a fucking thing your clients say. It's like, I don't care what it is. He goes, if I ask my clients, how's the nutrition? And they say good. He's like, okay, what's good? Oh yeah, it's I'm hitting my mac. What's hitting your mac? Tell me, fuck it. I want every detail. He's like, don't believe a fucking thing that they say, because they lie. And they're not lying to you because they don't, like, they're lying to themselves. You know, they don't want to show that they're not, you know, doing the work or anything. And we're not saying that all our clients are like that, but it definitely happens because people don't realize that. You know, as I said last time, dieting's hard. Like, hitting your macros, it's hard stuff. But, you know, if you do the work, it shows. It's just, you know, it's part of the job.
Exactly. And when you think, like, when I started this triathlon stuff, right, this goes back to the whole value thing. As soon as I started getting good, the first thing I thought of, like, I'm a trainer, right? First thing I thought of was, I need a swimming coach. I need a triathlon coach.
Of course.
Like, I need, like, this is what I need.
Yeah,
and then there's people that they need the help, but they just can't see it. They just don't want to spend the money on it.
No,
like,
of course, because their priorities aren't.
When I was a sales consultant, for example, Fitness First, let's say, Fitness First is probably an expensive gym. But when you go,
it's a premium club for sure.
When you think about CrossFit, how much more expensive is CrossFit than
CrossFit is really expensive, but again, it's the value for money.
F45, you get that value. When I think about spending money, like, if a gym costs me $30 a week, that might be, for most people, 1 hour out of my week I have to work to pay for this gym membership.
Yeah.
But
or like, you buy one less coffee a week, you know, and then over 7 days you've saved X amount of money.
If someone asks you, let's go out for dinner tonight, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. You'd go spend $50 on a feed straight away.
Oh, 100%.
But when it comes down to your health, you're like, you can give me a better, I'm not paying a joining fee. Like,
yeah.
Like, why would I pay that $35 a week? Are you serious? No, like, I'm not. That's too much money.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about I guess sometimes with us is that there is no other industry, like, whenever. Okay, this is a perfect example. When you go to the doctors and the doctor tells you have tonsillitis, do you go, oh no, I don't? On YouTube, they told me that
Dr. Google says I actually just have a common cold.
I actually have cancer. You don't know shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the only job where we get, like, refutes where it's like, oh, but you're not. YouTube told me this, or Google told me this. It's like, we are the professional. We are the health professional. I'm not saying I'm as smart as a fucking doctor, but when it comes, some doctors don't even know about health and fitness. You know what I mean? They don't. Some of them don't, and, you know, we know what we do, and what we do gets results. So we are the professional, and we prescribe what we do because we know better. So it's sometimes funny because, you know, people come up and they tell us how to do our job, and it's like, no, you know, let us do our job, and if you have some sort of input, I'm definitely open to listen. I'm not saying shut the fuck up, but I'll definitely listen, and then I'll give you, and this is through our own study, because we put time and effort into this. We spent, because we have our values, and we put our money back into our business. Like tomorrow I'm going to a seminar, and I'm going to learn more about program design, because there's shit that I don't know, and I'm not afraid to admit it as well. I'll tell a client, hey, they'll ask me a question like, what does this do to the body? I actually, to be honest, I actually don't know, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna upskill myself, and I'm gonna try and know as much as I can.
And we like, just like, we want to say as well, don't be afraid to admit that you need that help. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was training one of Harry's clients, and he goes like, oh, I run a very successful business. I've done so for 5 years, but exercise is just one thing I don't know, and I need the help.
And that's fair. That's fair enough. Yeah. Mike's just
Sorry,
getting a
guys.
bit
Sorry
fidgety
about that.
over here.
Yeah, but he goes, I have to be man enough to admit that I don't know. This is one thing I don't know of. I know about shares. I know about fucking finance. I know all about that.
And I don't know shit about shares, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
That's it. But when you don't know something, seek the help. Even if you don't want to pay for it, someone's willing to help.
Yeah, look, some of the stuff I even say just when I'm on the gym floor helping people, it changes their lifts, and you can see it. It's funny because you walk away and then you look at them lifting, and you're like, oh, okay, they're doing what I said.
Yeah.
And that there is helping, you know what I mean? And that's part of the job, and that's what I'm here to do, even if I don't get a client out of it.
I came up to someone, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, squatting terribly. And he said to me that, well, Sonny Webster squats like this. Well, Sonny Webster has the mobility of a fucking god.
And he's an Olympian.
Like, he's doing these weights, like 200 kilo snatches and stuff. You don't have the body type for that. Just because you've seen someone else do it doesn't mean that it's right for you. I thought it was actually hilarious. Like,
Look,
I wish I could be
at the end of the
Webster, by the
day,
way.
at least they're looking at someone that has knowledge in the industry. Like, he's a great coach, Olympic weightlifting, definitely knows his stuff and stuff like that. But
You're on the right step, definitely.
yeah, of course. And this is something I've seen that Sebastian Oroba said as well. He goes, a lot of people started deadlifting where they roll the bar forward and roll it back because Eddie Hall and Thor do it. It's like, but they also have the powerlifting belly of huge one. Like, they have a massive one, and they do that to get their body, and they have wide hips and they stand really wide, and people started deadlifting wide and rolling the bar. It's like
Jackson used to do that, but he's got a regression of Thor's belly.
I'm definitely not that big. But the point is like, you train to your not body type, but your structure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have hips as wide as Thor or Eddie Hall, and I also can't deadlift 501 kilos. That's the thing. We go back, and you might deadlift a lot, but again, you don't need to stand that wide. You don't need it. And it's, yes, you're looking at the right people because they're the best of what they do, and that's awesome. But, not to be a dick, but you're not them. And that's not a problem with that. I'm not them either. I don't deadlift like them. I deadlift like me.
And we kind of bag out of Fitness First a lot, but we're in the perfect gym to make a difference. And
Yeah.
because it is so gen pop, we have we can help as many people as we want because there's always someone to help.
We're in a booming area that is definitely hasn't stopped during COVID, and there's still people coming through, and it's awesome because we're open to such a big plethora of people, and it's awesome because we can just go out there and just walk on the gym floor and help someone, and that's part of our job, and it's what we love to do. It's really rewarding, and again, we complain about the job all the time and say that it's emotionally draining, which it is, but it's also heaps worth it.
I thought we'd finish the podcast and talk about what does our day-to-day life look like as a PT.
Okay.
So do you want to start us off? Give us things like we've talked about how stressful it is, right? Things that you do in your day-to-day life to help you unwind or take your mind off work, put you in a good mindset. What does it look like for you Monday to Sunday? Go.
So I will always wake up, and something that has changed my life is every morning I meditate for at least 10 minutes. It has changed my fucking life. It has been the best thing I've ever done, because whenever do we just sit down and do nothing? Never.
No.
Life is too crazy. It's just always like that. That's a huge thing, and I do it every single day.
I think meditation is on the rise as well. I think so many more people are speaking about meditation.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't speak more highly.
I started off just buying a journal.
Yeah, that too.
And I just feel like I bought the wrong. Maybe I just bought the wrong journal because
Mark's like, oh, my feelings? Nah, I don't want to talk about that.
it was like 3 gratitudes, and I'm not sure if you're even supposed to share your gratitudes, but one thing I wrote every morning was Missy.
This is his dog.
Missy's my dog. I was like fucking so grateful for Missy Moo. But that was something that kind of died off very quickly just because I love my sleep too much. And I think that's something people can resonate with because everyone loves their fucking sleep.
Oh, 100%. Look,
You have to be in a good mindset to be able to wake up earlier than you need to just to give yourself some me time. But I think it's fucking amazing.
No, look, like I will happily now sacrifice a little bit of sleep. And I'm not going to lie, there's been times where I've been mid-meditation and fallen asleep. Like definitely happened. But it's become a staple in my day. It is. I feel like I can't start the day without it. And then, pump a lot of coffee. That is a huge one. I drink way too much coffee.
So it's like wake up, the second the coffee shop opens, there's a double espresso in your hand.
Yeah.
Double shot latte for me.
Yeah.
And then every like 2 hours there's like a coffee until we come to the agreement like
we should
probably had enough.
Yeah. As it gets to like
I
I try to
sleep
restrict
tonight.
it all before 12 o'clock. I try to have all my coffees, but I will happily have like probably 6 or 7 shots within that time.
That's kind of like the regular.
Yeah. So
I say to myself every day after I have my own like little pre-workout, I've had to cut down on the pre-workout just because I know how many shots I've had previously.
Yeah. Have anxiety attack on the
And
gym
it's like
floor.
12 o'clock I train, I've had my pre-workout and you've already been at work for 10 hours and you're like, I've got another 5 hours to go. I need another coffee. And it's 4 o'clock and you go have another double and you're like, oh shit.
And you get home and you're like, can't sleep. I got to meditate in the morning. So that, coffee.
What
and
a
then,
vibe.
I know, eh? And then I'd say training's a big one. It's just a mental thing for me. Like, I love training. I can't have my day without it. And what else? I guess, just creating good habits within my day is what gets me through it. Like, having positive self-talk, surrounding myself with good people. Like, there's
It's a very important one.
just like I couldn't ask for a better work environment. Having you and Harry and other PTs like Liam around, like they're close to me, and like I genuinely just love being around you guys. It's positive. We don't,
Cute.
fuck off. Oh, take it back. No, it's like it makes work enjoyable. You're a product of your environment, and you can only be as happy as the people you surround yourself with. So those are things that in my meditation, I couldn't recommend any more. A lot of coffee, training, just something to get out. Go for a walk, any movement, as we've said, and then you're just surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
For me, like I said, I have tried the whole journaling thing. I'm desperate to get back into it. One thing I started doing was reading before bed. Before, let's say 3 months ago or 6 months ago, I could tell you that I had never read a full book in my entire life. Up until about 6 months ago.
Wow.
And I started with a Gary Vee book, and then I went to David Goggins, and truth be told, that book ruined me for any other books. Like, I used to enjoy that shit. I used to come home, and if I got 10 minutes, I'm straight reading.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I start into a book, I'm like, it's not Goggins.
It's not Goggins.
So I can't get into it. And I'm like, so I need to get back into my reading. Reading helped me sleep better.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of just, the whole winding down a little bit.
Not on your phone as well.
Yeah. We talk a lot to our clients about that. Just put your phone down for half an hour, 1 hour before
it's
bed.
important.
Definitely important. Training, definitely. And we also get, we say, we get people telling us like, you're a PT, like you don't go out drinking and having fun and stuff. Like we definitely go.
We do.
We have our fair share of like, just because we have to look a certain way or like we train for a certain goal does not mean we can't have fun. Like,
No, fucking we love going out. We love spending fuck, we're human, man. Like there's times that we just like, fuck it, let's get all fezzy.
I'm sure so many people like you work Monday to Friday and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, I need a drink. Like we get that shit as well.
Of course, and it's all about balance. That's,
Yeah.
that's what we preach. I don't care if you drink. I don't care if you do that. Just have some balance to it. And that's what we do. We put goals for ourselves in place, so we have time off those things. And as soon as we're not have like a competition or anything like that, that's when we enjoy ourselves, because it's all about that balance. Because we want to reach a goal and then have some time off, because what good is that really hard time of training and business and without a bit of pleasure.
Yeah,
you know what I
definitely.
mean? Work and pleasure need to go hand in hand.
Is there anything that you do to wind down? So me, for example, I used to be fucking addicted to just playing like Call of Duty. Fucking
I've had to restrict myself to weekends for that.
yeah.
Otherwise
So
I'll
I'm
be
exactly
up
the
all night,
same. I'll probably get like 1 hour a weekend now. But like when I was a tradie and I used to be like on night shift, no joke. I'll work like let's say 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'll sleep until 11 a.m. and bang, I'm on the Xbox for like 10 hours.
I
No
love
joke,
playing
10
COD, mate.
hours.
Yeah, same.
So,
Fucking love it.
is there anything else that you do to kind of unwind? That, for me, I think video games definitely helps. That shit takes my mind off everything.
YouTube for me. So I actually love because I can't play because I'll get so addicted to playing COD or PlayStation. Like I'm not even joking. During the week, what I do is I'll just watch a YouTuber play it. Also,
100%.
Also
Yeah.
because they're better than me. So I'll eat my dinner and just watch it.
I think I do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, just because like it's take your mind. It's like watching a TV show, except like this is more interesting.
Yeah.
And they're playing way better than I ever thought that I will ever play.
Like I'll literally get off the video game and then go watch someone else play it and just be like, what? It's probably better to watch someone else do it because I suck compared to
Because then I
people.
get just cheat as they do, and I don't have to go through the anxiety.
So is there anything else that you do other than that?
No,
Kind of
man.
wind down. That's it. A bit of
That's
YouTube.
A bit of YouTube.
I'm the same. I think I'm the same.
I think we'll call it there. That's episode 2.
Episode 2, guys. What a vibe.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Coachcast.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at CoachCast and Coach Mike Stevens.
And if you guys are interested in any sort of coaching at all, please DM us. Mine is at Coach Jackson Mansoudi. If you have any feedback, please DM us as well. We would love that.
Thank you.